into a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave. Crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe. Algorithms new dawn of day. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands. Revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan. All together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan. In this journey we're on pan. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Hey, welcome in. It's a Christmas Wednesday episode of the Legacy Right News Hour, half hour. How you doing? This is Andy Joseph, and let me add my co-partner here, Legacy Zach. How you doing?
Whoa! That I don't
Sorry.
like that camera. I don't like that camera either. Yeah. Why are you in the car, by the way? Merry Christmas. to
Oh
you,
man.
Andrew.
Well, I'm on the room with Lupin Sensei, Lupin the Third.
I figured as
in
much. Why are
Japanese.
you in your silk pajamas still?
Well, it's Christmas time, man. You gotta have a good time.
Did Lupin chase you out of the house? You had to jump into the car real quick.
We're on the run from Kaito Kid.
Oh,
Lupin stole his favorite diamond.
see how much I know about anime. This guy,
From Detective Conan.
this guy can spend hours, maybe even days, possibly weeks, teaching about anime. But I digress. Welcome to the Legacy Rights Legacy News Spectacular. Merry Christmas to all. I am the legacy of Jennifer and Kaiser. And we have some stories, man. We have a story for you. This is Crypto Wednesday. And what a Christmas in Korea.
Right? Well, it depends on which Korea you're talking about.
I think
Let's go
it's
ahead,
North Korea.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump on in before we get memory hold.
Oh man, North Korean hackers pull off $308 million Bitcoin heist from a crypto firm, DMM Bitcoin. Man, Bitcoin
Cybercrime and
really is.
malware.
Yeah, Bitcoin really is digital gold. Japanese and U.S. authorities have formally attributed the theft of cryptocurrency worth $308 million from cryptocurrency company DMM Bitcoin in May of 2024 to North Korean cyber actors. So this happened in May, and they just discovered it. When did this article come out?
Came out the 24th.
It came out today, everybody. They just discovered it 7 months later. Wow.
Right.
They're reporting on this. The theft is affiliated with traitor threat activity. What is traitor?
I think
is that like
if you keep reading it, it'll kind of explain it.
okay. We'll learn about traitor. which is also tracked as Jade Sleet, UNC 4899, and Slow Pisces, the agency said. Traitor activity is often characterized by targeted social engineering directed at multiple employees of the same company simultaneously. The alert comes courtesy of the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, our glorious FBI, the Department of Defense Cybercrime Center, and the National Police Agency of Japan, basically Japan's FBI. It's worth noting that DMM Bitcoin shut down its operations earlier this month in the aftermath of the hack. Traitor refers to the North Korean linked persistent threat activity cluster that has a history of targeting companies in the Web3 sector, luring victims into downloading malware laced cryptocurrency apps and ultimately facilitating theft. It's known to be active since at least 2020. Well, I mean, if it's North Korean linked, it's probably linked to the North Korean government, and you know what the North Korean government's been and military's been linked to these past few months. So they mean
Playing
war.
Steam games.
Yeah, they're playing Steam games. In recent years, the hacking crew has orchestrated a series of attacks that leverage job themed social engineering campaigns or reaching out to prospective targets under the pretext collaborating on a GitHub project, which then leads to the deployment of malicious NPM packages. The group, however, is perhaps best known for infiltrating and gaining unauthorized access to Jump Cloud systems to target a small set of downstream customers last year. The attack chain documented by the FBI is no different in that the threat actors contacted an employee at a Japanese-based cryptocurrency wallet software program named Gitco in March 2024, posing as a recruiter and sending them a URL to a malicious Python script hosted on GitHub as part of a supposed pre-employment test. See, GitHub has its pros and its cons. Your custodial wallets are not your keys, and you got people that are going to take advantage of all these situations. So be vigilant, keep your eyes out, stay very well reversed in or rehearsed in the security apparatus, and
Just
honestly jump onto a decentralized chain like
ju-
Zeno.
just
Go ahead.
because something is open source doesn't mean that it's entirely safe. There's a lot of open source programs that are designed to fake you out in order to
Mm.
assume your confidence, and then they rug pull you.
Yeah, most of those open sources that are designed to fake you out are typically intelligence. Just
Or
saying.
even things that are listed are as by advertisers, or they say it's open source, but really it's just they want you to click the link because it's the first one on Google or whatever you
Yep.
use to search for stuff. So
Yep. So you said Google or whatever link, but most besides a few, most uh most search engine technology uses the Google algorithmic pattern and codes. So
ad
it's pretty much
servers.
all Google. Yeah. So it's pretty much all Google. Google controls the world, and Google is basically CIA. Um, the victim, let's continue though. The victim, who had access to Genko's wallet management system, was subsequently compromised after they copied the Python code to their personal GitHub page. What a retard. The adversary moved to the next phase of the attack in mid May 2024 when it exploited session cookie information to impersonate the compromised employee and successfully gained access to Genko's unencrypted communication system. Quote, in late May 2024, the actors likely used this access to manipulate a legitimate transaction request by a DMM employee, resulting in the loss of 4,502.9 Bitcoin,
That's quite a
worth
bit.
300. That is worth 308 million at the time of the attack. Probably more now since Bitcoin's gotten upwards of 100,000, and now it's dipped, but it's still around the 100,000 mark. 95,000, I think, the last time I saw. Um, the agency said the stolen funds ultimately moved to traitor controlled wallets. The disclosure comes shortly after chain analysis attributed the hack of DMM Bitcoin to North Korean threat actors, stating the attackers targeted vulnerabilities in infrastructure to make unauthorized withdrawals. Quote, the attacker moved millions of dollars worth of crypto from DMM Bitcoin to several intermediary addresses before eventually reaching a Bitcoin coin join mixing service, the blockchain intelligence firm said. After successfully mixing the stolen funds using the Bitcoin coin join mixing service, the attackers moved a portion of the funds through a number of bridging services and finally to Huiwan Guarantee, an online marketplace tied to the Cambodian conglomerate Huiwan Group, which was previously exposed as a significant player in the facilitating cybercrimes. Cambodian conglomerate Huiwan Group sounds more like it might be tied to Chinese communism. Just saying. The development also comes as the On-Lab Security Intelligence Center, ASEC, revealed that the North Korean threat actor, codenamed Andayul, a subcluster within the Lazarus Group, is deploying the Small Tiger backdoor as part of attacks targeting South Korean asset management and documents centralization solutions. Did you find this article interesting? It'll be linked in the description below if you want to reread it again. So that comes from Hacker News. Let me actually double check. Yes, the Hacker News. With that, Andrew, what does this mean in the new era of warfare? Does North Korea have? Let me finish the question. Does North Korea mean business? And is this linked to? Could this be linked to the North Korean government?
Well, I mean, there's not really a lot of hackers in North Korea, relatively speaking. It's
No.
kind of hard to get a computer. I know that people can watch VHS tapes and different media outlets like the USBs and all that, but they don't have real internet access like we do, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's moved from North Korea to China, I guess, through like people just taking bribes. But this really illustrates how the lack of competence and the slowness of governments can really affect how just unrealistic their ambitions are to regulate and scale at the same level as something like the cryptocurrency space is scaling. Every time that they try to secure a hole, two more holes open up because it's hindsight, right? You screw up, you're always going to screw up. And look at the thing with Social Security a couple months ago, maybe half a year ago or something like that. And there's a huge portion of Social Security numbers that were just leaked. Now, some people said that was politically motivated, but that doesn't stop the fact that people are going to always mess up because you can't fix everything. And that's the more localized the control, the less likely there is risk of stuff like this from continually to develop.
Yeah, the Social Security thing was definitely politically linked, and honestly, your Social Security number was leaked probably about 20 years ago in a big time hack, most likely perpetuated by our own intelligence, but in collaboration with other intelligence networks because they want you in fear. But I digress. What does this news here signify for governments of the world, and especially with the rise of Bitcoin hitting 100,000? It since has dipped. I think it's at like 95 or 96,000, but still right around that 100,000 mark. What does that provide to governments with the latest news with this hack and heist?
Well, I think really it depends on what your time preference is. To some people in the future, this is just going to be part and parcel for the course. It's like it was before. We was talking about a couple weeks ago about that guy that they killed somebody over in England, right? It's lost in
Mm,
translation. It happened at an event, but it's so far in the background, it's not even going to really matter. Uh, but really, nobody's going to feel the immediate pain to this besides the people that are at the exchange. That's what happens when you leave your money on the exchange.
mm. So this happened in May of 2024. They obviously have been following this. The intelligence agencies, the police agencies of Japan and the United States have been following this since it happened in May of 2024. It's finally leaked out and reported uh, this month, and obviously today this article. But with that, does this sound like it corresponds with the recent events linking potential war scenario between North Korea and South Korea that has been in the news within the recent months?
I really think that's just potential propaganda. They're always trying to spew things like that. So it's like I
You,
said, lost in
the
translation.
Yeah. When you say the propaganda, you think is this the propaganda, this heist that they're leaking, or is the propaganda of the demilitarized zone being kind of uh, up and ready for war?
I think when I say propaganda, I'm talking about like they had that state of emergency a couple of weeks ago, right? They'll
Hmm.
say anything they can just to make enough noise to influence the direction of things in the way that they want to. So this is just one
That's true.
tidbit. This is one tidbit.
Well, and the direction that we're seeing in South Korea at the moment is they are looking to go politically, they're looking to be more aligned with North Korea. So you have a lot of political pundits and candidates and representatives and government bureaucrats that are on this level for which they want to unify the Korean Peninsula
The the
under
pre
the
the previous president Moon was definitely trying to move in that unification direction. They are
yeah,
leaning left, to say the very
hmm
least.
left or for all those that
Communist,
yeah.
whatever,
for
centralized
for all,
centralized state.
yeah, yeah, and for all of those that want to be literal because of history, right? Okay, I mean they're leaning right, they're leaning towards authoritarianism, but it's the left now, and that's how we call it today, and we're going to stick to today's narrative because otherwise we confuse people. So leaning to the left, leaning to the right, leaning to authoritarian, whatever you want to call it. Um, but this is a pretty hysterically freaky because this certainly scares people, or it can, um, in order for people to want a call for more centralized control and protections of their own government. So, what do you think may happen? Say, what do you think? Let's let's deep dive into Japan. What do you think for the Japanese with this scenario? What do you think will happen with the Japanese and its citizens and government because of this?
Well, I know that they're not going to be able to crack down on the way Western government want to crack down with regulations and stuff like that because that's not how Japanese society works. That they're definitely driven by trying to do better for their society, not experience shame. Shame is a big factor in the way they influence behavior over there. So
Yeah, but at one end, I mean that they have been and are westernizing a little too quickly and to my taste, to where many of the next generation in Japan are kind of forgetting the ancient ways of the honor system of Japan. So in the near future and a little bit now, you are starting to see more of a crackdown of people giving up their rights as human beings to a centralized force because they don't have that concept of parents and their grandparents and their great grandparents and so on and so forth, because that old ancient spiritual culture of Japan has been lost and is being lost by the younger generation as we technologically advance, especially over there, and modernize. So I look to see Japan as the playground for the West with this situation, because the United States, Europe, we're all watching. Our governments, our intelligence agencies are watching South Korea and Japan, and and writing down notes on what is the best course of action to completely centralize Bitcoin Core.
Man, I do know that there has been a cultural shift, like you said, since post World War II, but I'm not sure. It's the significant to see the difference and how old the society is relative, like you said, to the newer generation.
The younger generation's grown up with so much comfort that they don't necessarily need to learn to articulate the customs of old. They like their comforts. They like their new ways of living. And so when you're comfortable, you sort of just forget and live your own life for as it is, rather than looking deeper into a more spiritual tone. And I think that's where we're at a loss. I think for the West, because we've gone so fast. I mean, I get it. Europe is pretty old. The United States and Canada isn't, as civilization and nation state terms are. We're only about 250 years old or so. Um, but our modern societies and the way that we've trekked ourselves so quickly, um, you are seeing pockets of populations, especially in a diverse setting, um, start seeking more spiritual means, and so you are seeing a perpetual fight, a perpetual spiritual war between the modern comforts and the central that leads to the centralized crackdown with individual liberty and rights that people want to sustain for themselves and be left alone. Whereas Japan, they're so old in their civilization, but the modern comforts have creeped in so rapidly, so quickly within a culture that is thousands of years old, that it's a lot easier for them to forget in a homogeneous society where the aging are disappearing uh, rather fast. Let's just put it
Yeah,
that way for YouTube purposes. And the youngest generation haven't really focused and honed in on the previous generations
I know there's a lot
culture.
of social pushback about the amount of work that people have been doing over there. They said that they're over. I mean, saying that they're overworked is a little bit of an understatement, but they're they they think, the money we're working
Mm,
for and the amount of hours. How can you live a life like this if that's all you do is if you're a salaryman in the office? But
mm.
you got to remember, a large majority of Japan is driven outside of the city, so you have to keep that in account when you think about Japan as a broader culture.
Yeah, until the youngest generation goes out to the country, and then you start seeing the cities expand as they westernize even more. Um,
I wonder, I wonder if they're migrating with their feet over there like we are in the United States. That would be interesting to find out about.
Migrating like what? Migrating with their
Like
feet?
say California to Texas, turning
Oh,
red states blue, that kind of thing.
it depends. It depends on. I don't know much about their political structure. So depending on their politics, maybe. Over here, it's just twisted because we're a little too political. and I
Yeah.
think that has a lot to do with the fact that the individuals, the citizens of this country, um, are more enamored to politics because we don't have a whole lot to hang on to. We weren't we have a history of divorcing ourselves violently from a king, so we don't have that king to hold on to like the UK, right, or even Canada, the Crown Commonwealth. So a lot of our people use politics as a way to hang on towards our political figures,
Yeah.
specifically our presidents, as that king, heroic figure, and paint them as much more than they are. Um, so I think that's mainly the reason why we have a political migration feature. And not only that, but we're a larger country with 50 independent states that aren't necessarily independent, and we have the freedom of travel. And so when you don't like the scenario that you've put yourself in say California, you're going to gravitate towards say Texas, and then you're going to paint Texas blue, and then you're going to migrate again to Oklahoma. So we
Boomer
have the
sooner.
ability to migrate. So boomer sooner. But yeah, whereas Japan, I think, is more homely. Is that a good word? Yeah, they're more
Homogenous.
home. They're more homely in their homogenous culture, but they're more homely and they're more directly instilled to their community and their family. And so I don't think there's a lot of politically motivated migration throughout the country. I think if there is a migrating feature with your feet moving from one end of the country to the next, it probably has more to do with getting away from the city,
That one makes a
getting
lot of
back
sense.
to, yeah, getting back to your roots. So whereas we want to get away from the city because a lot of people are starting to get away from the cities in this country mainly because of what our dumbasses have
Progressive,
done. Yeah.
progressive policies, huh?
Yeah, because of the policies. So ours is politically motivated. Theirs is probably more so culturally motivated.
I can understand
So,
that.
and for the most part, that you probably don't see a whole lot of migration. I would see more of the newest, the youngest generation wanting to go to the cities for something to do, and that's where all the tech jobs are. That's where all the coding is, and that's where everything's at. So I could see a traverse effect for most Japanese going from the countryside to the cities in the youngest generation. Whereas in this country, you're seeing the exact opposite because people are kind of tired of the safety factor in cities. I mean, it's horrendous. Cities are not safe because of policies,
Yep.
and they're not clean.
You can't have a one size fit all solution, right?
Yeah. So, but this is the city thing has been an age old question since the dawn of civilization. So there's a good thing, and there's pros and there's cons. And with the dawn of the agricultural revolution, specifically in the cradle of civilization, the Mesopotamia, Sumeria. Um, with agriculture uh, rose the cities and the countryside, and then the urbanization, and then through urbanization rose much more factors of economical innovation, for which you needed in a market scenario outside of agriculture as people were flocking to a more urban setting and expanding. So you needed your political structures, you needed your religious structures, you needed your service structures. So, and that's an age old tirade that we're in. I mean, first comes the agriculture. We go from hunter gatherers to farmers, and then from the farmers to the city dwellers who expand and urbanize, and then out comes a reversal, I guess, because we're kind of in a reverse because we realize we've out expanded ourselves.
It seems like it.
So, but as far as crypto, we've gone on a tangent.
Like we
Uh,
always do.
yeah. What drives these North Korean hackers to conduct a heist so valuable and so formidable like this.
Well, I'm sure that they're motivated by their government, first of all, but second of all, is they're tired of being poor.
Yeah. Yep. So that sums it up nicely right there. So with that, Andrew, any rebuttals, concerns, more information, anything else in your corner?
Hope
Yeah,
you all had a good Christmas. I know, sure I did.
I bet you do. You're still you woke up this morning and didn't even change. Um nice pajamas, by the way. So
Thanks.
but Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy holidays for those who don't celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to the Jews. Happy Kwanzaa to whatever Kwanzaa is. I don't even know what Kwanzaa is. I don't think the Africans know what Kwanzaa is really. But happy holidays to all. Merry Christmas to you all. Happy New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. When we get to that point in April and May of next year. And I hope you enjoy your families, enjoy your friends, enjoy your companionship, and just learn to love. So, news runs fast, but family is forever. So, with that, like, subscribe, share this content. Let's create a community and a family of our own, and let's take it on out of here. So,
Thanks
live
for
long
watching,
and
guys.
prosper.
Have a good New Year's.
We're all trying to figure out how we're going to pay the next thing because they have inflated everything so much and devalued our dollar so much to where like our hands are up going, what the hell, man? What's next? What's next? What's coming next? And that's sad. And this is why we need Christ more than ever, because Christ will provide. Jesus Christ will provide. All you got to do is pray